Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a little different, actually.
Yeah, stepping out of the usual format, right?
Exactly. Instead of our usual reports or papers in a quiet studio, we're actually stepping right into the dynamic energy of a live Twitter space.
Oh, cool. So you get that kind of raw, unscripted feel.
Totally. Imagine that digital air buzzing, the really authentic vibe of a live chat, and then, a truly groundbreaking conversation
It's
unfolds.
like being a fly on the wall, isn't it? But hopefully with better audio than some spaces I've been in.
Hopefully. Yeah, that immediate human element, sometimes, complete with those little technical glitches, it just sets a unique stage.
You really get a sense of the passion and the real thinking behind the voices.
Absolutely. And at the heart of this particular Twitter space, which was very energetically hosted by Alberto Daniel Hill, along with Samantha and Azure co-hosting, was someone whose name is, it's practically synonymous with cybersecurity innovation, Alissa Knight.
Listen, I
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a big name. She's everywhere.
She really is. And she's not just a powerhouse in cyber defense, navigating the absolute cutting edge of security vulnerabilities. She's now pioneering entirely new ways for you, our listener, to actually engage with and learn about this whole field.
It's fascinating how she bridges those worlds, isn't it? The deep
hmm
tech stuff and now like full-on media production.
Right.
It
Yeah.
really shows she sees gaps not just in security itself, but in how we learn about security, how we consume it.
Exactly. So our mission today is to take a deep dive into Alissa Knight's incredibly diverse ventures. I mean, we're talking about everything from the world's first cybersecurity TV network
Okay.
to a unique publishing house and even a really focused conference.
Right.
But it's not just the businesses, which are genuinely reshaping things. We're going to distill her invaluable insights on building a career in cybersecurity.
That's gold right there.
Yeah.
Her perspective is always interesting,
Totally. So whether you're a seasoned pro looking for maybe a new angle or you're just starting out and feeling, a bit lost.
which is easy to do in this field.
Oh, definitely. So get ready for some honestly surprising facts and some really practical wisdom. It's all about understanding the ecosystem she's building and, crucially, how her own pretty extraordinary journey shapes the advice she gives.
Yeah, she definitely challenges some of the, let's say, standard advice you hear about cyber careers. It's refreshing.
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit more. When you tune into a Twitter space, there's that slightly unpolished feel.
Yeah, it's not slick corporate video.
Not at all. And that's part of the charm, right? You hear the hosts like Samantha and Azure handling mic invites. There were cheerful holiday greetings floating around. And yeah, a few of those totally relatable technical hiccups.
Someone inevitably drops off or can't unmute.
Exactly. I mean, Alyssa herself dropped out for a minute because of desktop access issues. And Samantha shared this pretty wild story about a near-death experience in another space, hearing some random voice.
Whoa, okay. That's memorable.
Right. It just brings home that this isn't some scripted interview. It's real, it's immediate, full of, human moments. Have you ever had one of those completely off-script moments in a live setting?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I was at this big security summit Q&A once, and bam, fire alarm goes off mid-question.
No way. Real fire.
Yeah, just a test they forgot to announce. Total chaos for a second, and everyone just kind of laughed. It breaks the ice, makes it feel more real.
It really does. That authenticity allows for these genuine exchanges, like Alissa Knight's self-introduction in this space. It was fascinating. She starts by calling herself a recovering hacker.
Hey, yeah, that definitely grabs your attention right off the bat, a recovering hacker.
It really does. And she talks about starting her hacking journey at just 13. 13.
Wow, middle school, just driven by curiosity, presumably.
Exactly. Diving into complex networks. And then, get this, at 17, still a teenager, she gets arrested for hacking a government network.
Okay, that is a dramatic start to a career, a very unconventional path.
What happened with the charges? How did she go from that to, everything else?
So this is the fascinating part she described. The charges were actually dropped. Apparently, the arrest was mishandled somehow.
Seriously, procedural error.
Seems like it. Imagine being 17, facing that kind of trouble, and then it just evaporates because of a mistake. But here's the kicker. Almost immediately after that whole ordeal,
Yeah.
instead of, running screaming from anything computer-related, she went to work for the U.S. intelligence community in cyber warfare.
Wait, right after getting arrested for hacking the government?
Right after. It's an incredible Almost unbelievable pivot from adversary to ally.
That's wild, but talk about perspective.
Exactly. It gave her this incredibly unique viewpoint. She understands the attacker's mindset because she literally lived it. That firsthand knowledge of finding vulnerabilities, exploitation, the psychology, it's priceless for defense.
No kidding. And from there, she just kept going, became a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, she talked about starting and selling multiple cybersecurity companies, setting up the Knight Group, and now she and her wife, Mel, own a whole group of 5 companies under that umbrella.
It shows incredible drive, doesn't it? Not just the tech skill, but serious business sense. From teenage hacker to running a multi-company enterprise.
It really is remarkable. And that background, that whole journey, it really informs everything else we're about to talk about. Her understanding is just so layered. Technical, business, strategic.
Built on actual experience, not just theory.
Precisely. Years of it. Hands-on, market-shaping stuff.
All right, so let's get into these ventures. This is where it gets really interesting. One of the core things she highlighted is Knight Studios. And she was clear. It's a film production company.
Not just dabbling.
Nope. She said she's a full-time filmmaker, writer, producer, director. It's not a side hustle. It's a major focus. Why do you think someone with her deep cyber background makes such a dedicated shift into filmmaking?
Well, I think it's pretty bold, right? But it probably speaks to a really deep understanding of how people consume information now. It's not just white papers anymore.
Right. Got to engage people differently.
Exactly. She likely saw this big gap for engaging, high-quality, cinematic cybersecurity content, stuff that could grab a wider audience, not just the hardcore techies.
And she brings that authenticity.
Totally. Having lived the reality of hacking, cyber warfare, she can tell stories with a realism a traditional filmmaker might totally miss. She gets the nuances, the tension, the human side of it all. It's perfect for drama, really.
And they're not just starting out slowly. She mentioned they've already produced 8 TV series. And a new feature film is in the works.
8 series. That's a lot of output for a relatively new studio, especially in such a niche area.
Seriously, how do they move that fast and maintain quality? Cyber topics aren't exactly simple to translate to screen.
Well, I suspect a few things are at play. First, her own deep expertise, right? She's the subject matter expert. That cuts down research time massively.
Good point. Streamlines things.
Yeah. Second, her network. She knows everyone in cyber, probably gets amazing access to real stories, insights, maybe even talent. And third, her entrepreneurial background. She knows how to build teams, manage projects efficiently.
Makes sense. Business principles apply to creative work.
And the proof is in the pudding, right? The industry recognition is impressive. Getting signed as a studio with AMC movie theaters for nationwide premieres, that's huge.
That puts them on par with mainstream films.
Absolutely. And then bringing home their 4th Cannes Award, plus other festival wins like the Red Movie Award, and aiming for Sundance. That tells you the quality is there. It's being recognized artistically.
So it's not just cybersecurity films, it's good filmmaking that happens to be about cybersecurity.
Precisely. And speaking of projects, she talked quite a bit about Scorched Earth.
Right. The series based on her own life story.
Yeah, her true story. From the FBI arrest at 17 to eventually working for them. She even announced during the space that episode 1 was dropping the very next day on the No Name Security and Knight Studios websites.
Wow. Talk about timely. How does basing a series on your own life, especially such a dramatic one in cyber, change how the audience connects with it?
Oh, it adds this incredible layer of authenticity, doesn't it? Knowing it's rooted in real events. It just hits different. It humanizes a field that can feel really abstract or technical.
Lets you see the personal side, the dilemmas.
Exactly. The sacrifices, the unique challenges, stuff that often gets glossed over in pure fiction. Telling your own story like that, especially that story, it's incredibly compelling.
And it seems the industry agrees. She mentioned negotiations for the rest of the season.
Yeah, with another API security vendor. So it shows vendors see the value too, not just as entertainment, but maybe as a way to raise awareness about these critical issues.
And here's something super cool for you, the listener. Knight Studios is running this cameo appearance contest.
Oh yeah, for which shows?
For their series Ransom and Dark Ops. She explained how you can enter for Ransom just by going to concealed.io, putting in your name and email to watch the episodes, and boom, you're entered.
Simple enough.
And for Dark Ops, the contest is coming soon. Winners get flown to the studios and get actual lines in the show.
That's brilliant engagement.
Yeah.
Way beyond just marketing.
Right. What's the thinking there, you reckon?
It's about creating a real connection, I think. For someone passionate about cyber, getting flown out, being on set, saying lines in a legit production about their field, that's like a dream come true for some people.
Bridges the gap between watching and participating.
Exactly. Builds community, builds buzz. Imagine telling your colleagues you were in that cyber thriller show. It's smart. Very smart.
Okay, moving beyond the film world, though still connected, Alissa Knight's vision really expands with Knight TV Plus. This she described as the world's first TV network for cybersecurity content.
Okay, that sounds like a potential game changer. A dedicated streaming service.
Yep. How significant is that, do you think? For the industry, for learners?
I mean, potentially monumental. Think about it. A single place for high-quality cyber content. She clearly saw this void, right?
Sure.
Beyond the usual corporate training stuff or dry conference talks.
A central hub.
Yeah. For the learner, it means one accessible platform with everything from entertainment to deep dive education, all curated for their interest. It could really democratize access to knowledge in a field that's often felt quite siloed.
And she's not messing around with the rollout. Launch date, January 1st. Available worldwide.
Wow, straight out the gate. Global from day one. That's ambitious.
And that global part is key. Alberto, one of the co-hosts, actually brought up his frustration with things like Amazon Prime being geo-blocked where he lives.
Yeah, that's a common pain point.
And Alissa immediately jumped in, saying, no geographic limitations. She talked about using a content delivery network, CDNs, with POPs, points of presence on every continent.
Okay, so technically that means they're distributing servers globally. So wherever you are, the video streams from relatively close by, minimizes lag, ensures good quality.
Exactly. So anyone, anywhere with an Apple TV, Fire TV, LG, Samsung, Roku, you just install the app and watch.
That is a massive win for accessibility, truly global reach.
And getting access. 2 models. There's a $9.99 a month subscription.
Okay, pretty standard streaming price.
And she made this funny comparison, like, it's probably more than you spend on toilet paper.
Huh. That's one way to frame the value. Puts it in perspective.
Right. Or if you prefer, there's a freemium ad-supported option.
Smart. The dual model catches everyone. Free access broadens the reach. Premium gives the ad-free experience. And the toilet paper line just makes it feel like a no-brainer to subscribe.
But here's the thing. Knight TV Plus isn't just entertainment. Yes, it'll have 2,047 content like Netflix, Knight TV originals, plus dozens of titles from other producers.
So it's a solid library to start.
Yeah, and she mentioned plans for fast channels down the line. Remind us what fast channels are again.
Right, fast. Free ad-supported television. Think of it like old-school broadcast TV, but streamed online. It's a scheduled lineup of shows, 2047 with ad breaks.
Ah, so like Pluto TV or Tubi?
Exactly. So it gives you that lean-back channel surfing experience, which some people still like. And for Knight TV Plus, it's another way to support the content through ads, enabling that free tier.
Gotcha. But here's where it gets really interesting for you, the learner. Beyond shows, they plan to broadcast security conferences live, like Black Hat, like RSA.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Live streaming major cons like Black Hat and RSA?
That's what she said.
That's huge. Truly revolutionary. Think about the cost of attending those things in person.
Thousands, right. Registration, flights, hotels.
Easily. It's prohibitive for so many people, students, folks at smaller companies, people outside the U.S., broadcasting them live. That completely democratizes access to that cutting-edge research, the latest threat intel, the big keynotes.
You can basically attend from your couch.
Game changer. Absolute game changer for professional development. Access to knowledge that was previously locked behind a very expensive physical gate.
And it gets even more focused on development. The planned e-learning integration. She said they're talking with InfoSec Institute.
Wow, okay. So actual courses.
Yeah, offering hacking and InfoSec courses right through the network. Some premium ones will be transactional video on demand, you pay per course.
TVOD, yeah. Makes sense for specialized stuff.
But here's the commitment. Alissa said she is determined to lobby for free curriculum to be included as part of the basic subscription.
Free courses included in the $9.99. That's incredibly generous and strategic.
Why do you think she's so focused on making that education accessible, even free?
Well, it ties back to her own story, right? She mentioned how hard and expensive it was to find info when she started. She understands those barriers.
Wants to remove them for others.
Exactly. It shouldn't be about whether you can afford it. By putting e-learning right on the streaming platform, she's meeting people where they are, offering different ways to learn. And it directly tackles the global talent gap.
By widening the pool.
Massively. Especially reaching underserved communities, developing nations. It's a holistic vision. Education, awareness, entertainment, all feeding into building a bigger, more inclusive, more skilled workforce.
And the content isn't static. She mentioned adding crypto and blockchain security content,
Which is a hot area, lots of vulnerabilities there.
and said the network aims to build around what you, the audience, actually want to see.
That responsiveness is smart. Cyber changes so fast. New threats, new tech. If the platform evolves with the audience's needs, it stays relevant, stays valuable, keeps people engaged long term.
So it's this whole integrated media and learning platform, but she's also building out other parts of the ecosystem. Knight Publishing, for instance.
Ah, yes, the publishing house. Born out of frustration, she said.
Yeah, frustration with traditional publishing. She had some strong words, basically calling them law firms.
Ouch. What was the core problem she saw?
That they focus more on the legal side, the contracts, than actually marketing the books. They take huge cuts, she mentioned, up to 75% sometimes.
Wow.
And they rely heavily on the author already having a big following to sell the books. The marketing burden falls entirely on the writer.
Yeah, that's a common complaint from authors. Yeah. The publisher doesn't really push the book unless you're already famous. It feels broken for many.
So Knight Publishing is the countermove, their model. Actively invest in marketing the books and take a much smaller cut, a real partnership.
That sounds much fairer. Actually helping the author find their audience, not just printing copies. That's real value add.
And Alyssa's leading by example. She has 2 of her own books coming out under Knight Publishing.
Oh yeah, what are they?
One is called Princess of Thieves, based on her research where she hacked, get this, 55 banks and crypto exchanges through their APIs in less than a week.
55. Just through APIs. Okay, that underscores the API vulnerability problem she's always talking about. That sounds like a must-read.
Right. And the other book is her autobiography, both coming to Amazon, audiobook, Barnes & Noble.
The autobiography will definitely be fascinating too, filling in more of that incredible story.
But importantly for you, the listener, this isn't just about her books. Knight Publishing is actively looking for new authors.
Ah, so it's an open call.
Yeah. If you have a book idea, a manuscript, especially in the cyber realm, they want to hear from you. And they're promising that marketing support.
That's a fantastic opportunity for people in the community with expertise or a story to share. Getting actual marketing muscle behind your work, huge.
Really opens up a new channel for voices in the space. And speaking of critical areas, there's also API Secure, their annual conference.
Focus specifically on API security, naturally.
And she's incredibly passionate, almost alarming, about the API problem. Remember that quote she shared?
Oh yeah, the one about advising a hostile nation state.
Helene.
Remind us.
She said, if I were to advise a hostile nation state on how to take down the United States, I would tell them to start with the APIs first.
Yeah, that really lands the severity. For listeners maybe not deep in development, can you break down why APIs are such a critical vulnerability point? Why that statement is so stark?
Sure. Think of almost any app or website you use, banking, social media, shopping, whatever. It looks like one seamless thing, right?
Yeah, but behind the scenes, it's usually made of lots of different software pieces talking to each other. Your account info comes from here, the product catalog from there, the payment processing happens somewhere else.
Okay.
APIs, application programming interfaces, are the messengers, the communication lines between all those pieces. They let software talk to software, exchange data, trigger actions. They're like the hidden wiring and control panels in a building.
Gotcha. The stuff behind the walls.
Exactly. Now, if that wiring, those control panels, are insecure, badly designed, misconfigured, not properly authenticated, an attacker can bypass the front door, your main login, and go straight for those internal communication lines.
And access data directly? Or mess things up?
Both.
Okay.
They could potentially grab sensitive data, change things they shouldn't, disrupt services, maybe even take down the whole system by overloading those communication pathways. Since everything relies on APIs now, compromise them means you could potentially compromise the entire digital foundation. That's the gravity.
Okay, that makes it crystal clear. And API Secure, the conference, tackles this head on. But it does something unique to avoid death by vendor pitch, right?
Yes. The 3-track system. This is brilliant.
Break it down.
Okay, you've got the red track. That's for people who want to learn how to hack APIs, find the flaws. Then the blue track for people learning how to secure APIs, build defenses.
Red team, blue team. Makes sense.
But then there's the crucial third one, the solution track. This is only for vendors. All the sales pitches, the product demos, they happen there.
So the red and blue tracks stay purely educational. No hidden sales pitches.
Exactly. It respects the attendee's time and primary goal. learning actual stuff, not sitting through commercials. It shows she really gets the community's frustrations with typical conferences. Vendors get their space, practitioners get theirs. Clean separation.
Very smart. And again, accessibility is key. It's
Yep.
in person in Silicon Valley, but also has a digital pass for streaming.
And eventually ends up on Night TV Plus, closing the loop.
Right. And this whole ecosystem approach, it even extends beyond media and events. She briefly mentioned other parts of the Knight Group.
Yeah, a digital agency, a venture capital fund, Knight Group Capital, and even a coffee line.
Yep. A hacker genre coffee line. First roast. Black hat.
Okay,
Yeah.
Black Hat Coffee. I love it. But how do things like a VC fund or, coffee fit into the bigger cybersecurity picture she's painting?
Well, think about it systemically. The digital agency probably handles the branding, marketing, web presence for Night Studios, Night TV, Night Publishing, keeps it all high quality and consistent using internal talent.
Okay, that makes sense. Synergy.
The VC fund, Knight Group Capital, even more strategic, they can invest in promising new cyber startups.
So they get early access to innovation.
Exactly. Maybe those startups become content for Night TV or partners for API Secure or even clients for the agency. It lets them not just report on innovation, but actively fund and shape it. It's a feedback loop.
Completes the circle. Very
Yeah.
smart. And the coffee.
That feels like pure community building and branding, right? It's fun, it's tangible, it creates this shared identity, this lifestyle vibe around the hacker genre she mentioned. It shows she's building more than just businesses, she's cultivating a culture.
A whole self-sustaining ecosystem.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
It's comprehensive.
Truly. From funding startups to brewing coffee, all connected back to cyber. It's incredible. But okay, let's shift gears a bit. Because beyond the businesses, she offered some really solid advice on navigating a cybersecurity career. This impacts everyone listening.
Yeah, this part of the conversation was incredibly valuable, especially her take on getting started.
Right. She really pushed back against the idea that you need expensive certifications right away.
Her number one piece of advice: start with free resources first. That's huge, especially for newcomers who see those multi-thousand-dollar boot camps and certs and just feel shut out.
She basically said passion and initiative can get you started, no huge upfront costs needed.
And she pointed straight at the University of YouTube, all the free courses, tutorials, talks. The info is out there.
The challenge isn't access anymore, she said. It's time management, filtering and absorbing it all.
And she's big on reading, too, even, as she put it, in this TikTok generation.
Ah, yeah. Her surprising tip there, get a CISSP study guide.
Not necessarily to take the test right away.
No, but use it as a roadmap, a curriculum guide. She called it 1 mile wide, 1 inch thick.
Meaning it covers the whole landscape, right? Networking fundamentals, TCP/IP, the three-way handshake, how computers actually talk, operating systems, applications. It gives you that foundational breadth.
The context that maybe random YouTube videos lack, so you're not just learning isolated tricks, you're building a framework.
Exactly. Understand the why before you specialize. She also contrasted it with how hard info was defined back in the early 90s on dial-up BBSs, no Google.
Makes you appreciate the resources we have now.
Definitely. But, okay, while she champions free learning first, she does acknowledge certifications have a place.
Right, they're kind of a gatekeeper, she said, to get past HR.
Yeah, that initial filter, having CISSP, Security Plus, whatever, on your resume often gets you through the automated screening or the first human glance, gets you the interview.
And this was a big, but certifications alone won't get you the job.
Absolutely not. The interview is the real test. You have to demonstrate actual fundamental knowledge.
She gives some tough examples of interview questions.
Yeah, like what's the 9th byte offset of the IP header, which tests if you really understand network packet structure at a deep level.
Or the difference between a buffer overflow and a heap overflow. Can you quickly break those down again?
Sure, both are memory corruption bugs. A buffer overflow is when you stuff too much data into a fixed size temporary storage area, a buffer, overwriting adjacent memory. A heap overflow is similar but happens in the heap, a different memory area used for more dynamic data storage. Both can potentially let an attacker run their own code.
Critical exploit types. And she also mentioned SQL injection versus cross-site scripting, XSS.
Right. SQL injection targets the database behind a web app, tricking it into running malicious database commands. XSS targets other users of the web app, injecting malicious scripts into the web page that then run in their browsers. Totally different attacks, different impacts.
So asking these questions isn't about trivia, it's about probing real understanding.
Exactly. Do you grasp how systems work and how they break? The cert gets you in the door. This knowledge gets you hired.
That's such a critical distinction for anyone listening who's focused only on passing exams. Knowledge over paper.
100%. And related to that, she had a really interesting take on specialization versus breadth, the whole jack of all trades idea.
Yeah, I loved this. She used the full quote.
Right. Jack of all trades, master of none is always better than a master of one. That second part changes everything.
It really does. Challenges that push towards hyper-specialization early on.
And she used her own career as Exhibit A pen tester, forensics, incident response, log analysis. She's done a bit of everything.
And argued that breadth gives you a massive advantage.
Yeah. A holistic view, understanding the whole attack life cycle, how different defense mechanisms fit together. In a field that changes so fast, being adaptable, understanding multiple areas might be more valuable long-term than being the world expert on one thing that could become obsolete.
And she was clear. There's no wrong way to build your career. Explore, find what makes you happy, pivot if you need to.
It's about fulfillment, staying engaged, not locking yourself into one box forever. It's a much more fluid, adaptable, and frankly, probably healthier way to think about a long career in cyber.
Okay, now for the big one. The debate that seems to rage eternally in cyber circles.
Ah, the programming question.
Exactly. Do you have to know how to code to be a real hacker or work effectively in security? It puts so many people off.
And Alyssa's answer was pretty blunt and honestly probably a relief for many listeners.
What did she say?
Emphatically, no. You do not have to be a programmer for many, many cybersecurity roles. She even said she herself has hacked over 100 networks without writing a single line of code.
Wow. That directly counters that whole coder is king mentality you sometimes hear.
Completely. She acknowledged that scripting Python, Perl is useful, sure, and stuff like PowerShell is crucial if you're a server admin.
But the attack landscape has shifted.
That was her point. So much focus now is on web apps, APIs.
Yeah.
Exploiting them often involves understanding logic flaws, configuration errors, business process loopholes, not necessarily writing complex code yourself.
And there are tons of vital non-coding rules.
Yeah, absolutely. She listed them. Policy, compliance, security architecture, GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. These are critical functions. Designing secure systems, managing risk, ensuring regulations are met, none require you to be a coder.
So programming knowledge helps, gives you an edge maybe?
It definitely won't hurt, she said. Can give you an edge, especially in understanding exploits or doing reverse engineering. But it should not be seen as a barrier to entry.
The field needs both.
Desperately.
Yeah.
Programmers and non-programmers. That was her core message on this. It's about opening the field up, not putting up artificial walls.
Which ties into the talent gap discussion, right? The massive global shortage of cyber professionals.
Yeah, millions of unfilled jobs. We need more people, period. Especially more women, more diversity.
And she highlighted how unique backgrounds can be a strength here. Like Nick, the former aircraft mechanic.
Yeah, applying his avionics knowledge to find vulnerabilities others missed. That's brilliant. It shows how seemingly unrelated expertise can be a superpower in cyber.
It perfectly illustrates that idea she mentioned. Innovation begins when you take two kind of very unlikely fields and then you put them together.
Totally. Or her idea of bringing statisticians in to do magical stuff with logs, turning all that data into real intelligence.
Or how even basic security concepts like a DMZ network zone were borrowed from the military.
Right. It encourages you, the listener, to really think. What life skills do you have, even from totally different fields, that could offer a unique angle on cybersecurity problems?
It's about that lateral thinking. Cyber needs problem solvers from all walks of life: criminology, psychology, logistics. They all bring valuable perspectives.
Diverse minds for diverse problems. That's the key.
And finally, on a very practical note, she addressed the cost of education again.
Yeah, pointing out that there are resources, grants, scholarships.
She mentioned the National Science Foundation, the National Institute of Cyber Education, even their own Night Dragon program.
So you don't necessarily have to be limited by what you can personally afford. There are avenues for funding if you look for them.
It really democratizes access, reinforcing her point about starting free, but also knowing there's help for more formal training.
It's an empowering message. Financial status shouldn't dictate your ability to enter this critical field. There's opportunity there.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, it's just kind of amazing to look back at the sheer breadth of what Alissa Knight is doing.
It really is. From Night Studios and Night TV Plus, creating this whole new media landscape for cyber.
To Night Publishing and API Secure, fundamentally rethinking how knowledge is shared and expertise is developed. She's just relentless.
A true force. And her core messages for navigating a career are so clear and practical.
Yeah. Start free, use certs strategically, embrace breadth. Don't feel barred by coding.
Exactly. She's not just building companies. She seems to be actively building bridges for more people, more diverse people, to get into this industry, while also raising the bar for cyber content itself.
So we really hope this deep dive has given you, our listener, a valuable shortcut to understanding this dynamic intersection of media, education, and cybersecurity.
And maybe spark some ideas for your own path, right? How you learn, how you might contribute.
Absolutely. Alissa Knight's own journey from recovering hacker to this multifaceted entrepreneur and media creator. It's just a powerful reminder that unconventional paths can lead to massive impact.
Her story, her advice, it really champions thinking differently, pursuing your passion, maybe even where it seems unexpected.
So here's a final thought for you to mull over as you go about your day. How could your unique background, your specific interests, maybe even your unconventional skills, create an unexpected advantage in the cybersecurity world?
Or, flipping it around, what new kinds of deep dive content, what new ways of learning could you imagine leveraging to grow in this field? The possibilities, as Alissa demonstrates, seem pretty endless right now.
We really do. And remember, if you want to explore Alissa Knight's ventures further, check out Knight TV Plus, Knight Studios, Knight Publishing, API Secure Online. There's a lot there to engage with.
Definitely worth exploring.
Thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.